Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Angel Walls Productions and God's Grace on Thee. I'm doing this video for both of my platforms, and I want to continue on with the Lost Scrolls and the words of Jmmanuel, Jesus Sanada. That is his real name. There's so much information that I've provided you with links so that you can, in your own time, read on your own, and you don't have to wait up on me. But I turned to God and I asked him, I says, what do you think? Do I jump around to areas that need to be stated first, or should I just continue straight forward? And so we're going to move straight forward. And so this is just going to be a part of my program. And I hope that you all come with an open mind and a loving heart. Okay, folks, so without further ado, let's get started. Chapter 2. Monday, August 7th, 1989, 7 o'clock a.m., Year 2, Day 356. I am present, Dharma, and let us continue with our writings. I will relinquish to Judas Iscariot, that he might have translation of the words of the scrolls. You once must recall that in any given experience, the circumstance existing at the time is of utmost importance to keep in thy minds. It is easy to look back and see how it could have or would have been different. It is the story told and happening at that time that is important in this circumstance, for such erroneous tales have been told and exaggerated through time passage. Think, if your newspapers can mix up two names in an interview on thy front page, what of 2,000 years ago, as word went by camel caravan by gossip? We come now to set the record to right. Too much damage has been done unto ones in my name, and it shall stop, for you ones are being destroyed by evil. Thy own media presentations are completely filled with the stories, and ye only get perhaps 1/1000 of any news about thy globe. Further, that comes from pre-selected stories or versions thereof, cleared by a central news service. Do ye actually think that it would be headline news were I to walk with Sister Eleanor every 30 minutes in full embodiment? Of course not. So come out of thy fantasy world of silly dreams and let us get on with truth. And let us put the basically incorrect myths to rest with the truth in brief format, that you are prepared to enjoy and learn from thy brothers of the cosmos who will come forth soon to assist you, who have petitioned unto me and our Father for assistance. Ye of earth have asked in prayerful searching for help in thy time of violence and moral decay. Ye shall have it. How did you perceive it would come? Really, think about it. How did you think it would come forth? Ye no longer have the ability nor the facilities upon earth to reverse it. So how did you believe it would come to you? So be it. I stand aside to monitor Dharma, that you and Judas might script blessings upon the word. We're going to learn about John the Baptist. Let us speak firstly of the one of thy book referred to as John the Baptist. None knew then nor now from whence came the one John the Baptist, for he was brought here to prepare the way for the young Jmmanuel, who would achieve his mastery. The whole land was laid throughout with evil persecution. Beloved friends who read of the words this day of the year 1989 can have no conception. Ye look upon the picture Christmas cards and see whatever ye wish to see. It was a sordid and cruel time in the world at the coming of the Christos Master. Ye can find of good in little pockets of existence in any time format in history. Back to the scrolls. The next few years of young Jmmanuel were spent in and about Nazareth while he grew in his physical way with his family, which also grew in number during those years. I will effort at keeping to the facts in point of discussion. However, so will not at this time enlarge upon other than effect of circumstances, which related directly to Jmmanuel in a major magnitude that differs to great degree from what ye have been told. And at the time there came one, John the Baptist, who went about the country teaching and preaching. And he preached mostly in gatherings along the banks of the Jordan River at the edge of the desert. And no one knew from where he had come, not when he had arrived. He did, however, begin to draw rather large crowds, for he preached the baptism according to the old laws of God, in the way according to which the path to knowledge was to be prepared. And he preached that the laws had to be followed because he, God, was the only ruler for the human race, but that above God was the creator of the worlds, the universes, and all things alive. He also preached that all things are alive. He told that the creation is without gender, neither male nor female, was the secret of all secrets, death and life, the light and darkness, being and non-existent, and that the God, the Lord, the ruler of his human race, and those who traveled from afar, the celestial sons, hold the creation in most high esteem above all other or all else. And all over Judea and the people of Jerusalem went to John, acknowledging the ancient laws of God, and allowed themselves to be baptized by him in the river Jordan. Now John told them it was not the ritual itself that made any difference, but only that it represented cleansing and acceptance. It washed the darkened energies from the auric field around the body, that the positive energy field of light could establish itself. Water changes electrical patterns, brethren. Ye must keep this uppermost in thy scientific activities. And John came forth as a most simple being, who wore a simple robe of woven camel hair and clutched it with a belt of camel leather about his loins. His food was also simple, for he ate little other than wild honey and locusts. He explained to the people that as the locust did feed on the grain crops, the substance taken within the locust was converted to a most worthy food supply. And he showed them that the locust did not need represent a destructive pest, but rather a food supply of great value, which converted a simple food stuff into a body-sustaining whole food. He further told them that the honey gathered from the wild bees gave energy, upon which the body could instantly draw strength, and as the wild bees gathered the dust from the wild plants, they brought forth a variety of worthy food supply into the honey. Further, the unused dust brought forth into the hive was also a most wondrous food supplement. As always in the case in history, man takes that which pleases him and discards that which he despises. Were man to come to balance and partake of the pests which abound, ye would not be plagued by famine and starvation. Ponder it, brethren. As John anointed by immersion in the river many of the people, there also came many Pharisees and Sadducees to him, taunting and ridiculing him with malicious shoutings and speeches. But John spoke. You breed of vipers, who told you that you could escape from the future wrath once your false teaching is recognized? Watch and bring forth fruit of repentance and teach the truth. Turn from the evil of your own false teaching, done with arrogance, and from the motives of power and profit. Do not think that you will say amongst each other, "We have Abram as a father." I tell you, with his knowledge and power, God is able to turn these stones into children, because he knows the secret of the creation. The axe has already been laid at the root of the trees. Therefore the tree which bringeth forth bad fruit will be hewn down and thrown into the fire. You breed of vipers, in 2,000 years, you and your descendants who teach falsely, serving your own pride from the motives of power and profit, shall be punished and destroyed because of your lies. When the human race begins to know and separates the wheat from the chaff, when your false teachings are laughed at and the human race finds the truth, when the human race builds singing lights and fire machines which fly in the skies and beyond, and within which the human can ride forth into space and beyond, as is done by God and his following, the celestial sons, who teach us wisdom and the knowledge of the creation, who urge us to obey the law of nature and live in accordance and in balance with it. Then shall ye reap the rewards and harvest of thine lies and evil works ye have thrust upon these beloved peoples. Get away from this place, ye faithless breed of vipers. Get away from this place, for ye are impure and cursed in your false teachings. Get away from this place, for I am by my own accord baptized you to repentance with only water. But he who comes after me is stronger than I, and I am not worthy to take off his shoes. He will baptize you with the knowledge of the Spirit and with the fire of truth. And he will come forth with his shovel in hand, and he will sweep his threshing floor and gather the wheat in his warehouse. But he will burn the chaff with a fire that cannot be extinguished, for the lie can never resist truth, which destroys evil in its fire. And he will come forth times two, for his first coming will be for his own lessons, that he shall be able to pass his initiations and come into his full inheritance. And then he shall come, and all these evil things shall be banished from this land. Upon one occasion, as John was preaching to the gathered crowd and the mockers were particularly degrading, behold, young Jmmanuel came from Galilee, came to the river Jordan. And he went forth to John and asked John to anoint him in baptism. But John refused and spoke, I need to be baptized by you, for you are of far greater wisdom than I am. And you come to me? Jmmanuel answered and spoke, Let it happen thus for now. For it is up to us to fulfill all justice and to act in earth circumstance, since we are both sons of the earth. Thusly the two spoke with God between themselves and counseled guidance. And so John consented and did baptize Jmmanuel. And they braced as friends of long duration and exchanged words which could not be understood nor interpreted by those who gathered at the river. Now after Jmmanuel was baptized, he soon emerged from the water of the river Jordan. And as he climbed forth upon the river Sheol, a great excitement passed through the crowd gathered there. For witness thusly, a metallic light fell from the sky and dropped over the river Jordan. And the people all fell on their faces and pressed them into the sand of the river shore. And some jumped into the river itself, for they were terrified and frozen in fear. But a voice spoke out of the metallic light. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. He will be the King of truth and teacher of wisdom, and who shall lift his human race to knowledge. And after the voice was silent, Jmmanuel turned to the crowd and told them to be at peace and fear not. He placed his blessings upon those gathered. And after the voice was silent, Jmmanuel turned to the crowd and told them to be at peace and fear not. And he placed his blessings upon those gathered, and the panic and fear was abated. And he then turned and entered into the metallic light, which appeared to be surrounded by fire and smoke, but gave forth no terrible heat, which burned the skin. However, all kept a distance from the light, save Jmmanuel, who had walked forth and entered therein. After he entered into the light through an opening, the opening was still closed, and the light ascended into the sky, glided across the lifeless sea of air, and the singing of the metallic light soon became silent. And after that, Jmmanuel was no longer seen nor heard upon the land for 40 days and nights. And during the ensuing period of the time, Jmmanuel no longer lived among the people of the human race of the earth. Actually, he never again lived in the fulfillment of human density from that very day forward, for he was somehow made different from the human creation with whom he was to experience. Now the next portion was laid forth in words from the Master himself, and in fact ye of the small group circle have shared this telling of the secret. I shall retell of it here, that this document be in completion as a unit record of sequence. However, I shall cover it only briefly, from the Master Jmmanuel wishes to cover this experience in more detail at a later time sequence, and I shall relate it exactly as the scrolls can be translated. So after Jmmanuel was lifted up from the earth, and when this happened, no one knew where he had been taken. So Jmmanuel was left off by the metallic lighted object between north and west, and where the guardian angels had received cords with which to measure the place for the chosen ones. Thus he lived for 40 days and 49 nights between the winds of the north and the west, where he received the secret of wisdom. Meanwhile he spent his days with the wise saints and God and the guardian angels, the celestial sons, who taught him the knowledge of the wisdom, the dominion of God over this human race and his celestial sons, the omnipotent of the creation of the universes, and the immortality of the spirit through rebirth. And there he saw the forefathers, the saints of ancient times, who were with the fathers of the human race, the celestial sons. And from there he went north along the ends of the earth, where the metallic lights and fire vehicles fell out of the sky, or streaked through the skies, or with singing covered with smoke and fire, soared into the spaces, and then sometimes sat silently above the lands in silent, motionless cloud forms, when near into the land masses. Now there at the ends of the entire earth he saw a great and marvelous wonder. Here he saw the doors of heaven open. There were 3 of these doors which were opened unto him, that he might see within. As big as the area of the lifeless sea near the river Jordan did the heavenly doors radiate in its brightest sohar. Radiating therein, the entire land of Israel was alive and true. Man and animal and everything that was there inside this first heavenly door. There was no hidden secret, for Sohar entered into the smallest spaces of the cottages and revealed the last to be known. Inside the second heavenly gateway, there rose mighty mountains, whose tops reached into the sky and disappeared in the clouds. Huge masses of deep snow were lying down at the foot of the mountains, and at the edge thereof another human race with brown skin built their dwellings. Now the third heavenly portal revealed a land of huge dimensions, mountainous lands with rivers, lakes, and oceans. And again therein lived another human race. Now not far from these 3 heavenly portals was the palace of God, the ruler of these human races, and those who had traveled from afar, the celestial sons and the guardian angels. And in his palace God ruled over the 3 human races created by him, and over his following, the celestial sons. He was immortal and ancient, and the size of a great giant, like unto the celestial sons. We continue on with the sacred teachers. Within this palace of God there appeared to Jmmanuel 2 very tall men, like the likes of whom he had never seen before on earth. Their faces radiated like the sun. Their eyes seemed like burning torches, and fire seemed to come from their mouths. Their clothing resembled a layer of foam, and their arms were like unto golden wings. They lived in their own world, for the world of humankind had killed them. Now these 2 men from the constellations of the 7 sisters were sacred teachers, and were together with 2 smaller men who said that they were men from Baal. Now they said, people have come from heaven to earth, and other people have been lifted from earth into heaven. The people that have come from heaven remained on earth for a long time, and created the intelligent human race. Behold, men created by the celestial sons were very different in their own way from the other people of the earth. They were not like man of earth, but similar to the children of the angels of heaven, a different kind. Now their body was white and pale as likened to snow, and red in the within as the rosebud. And their hair was white as wool, and their eyes most beautiful. The human races shall keep their inherited beauty, and keep on creating it. But in the course of the centuries and millennia, they shall mix with other human races of the earth and heavens in order to create with the earth people, new human races and special races, such as the celestial sons. Here is the wisdom of a celestial son. Jmmanuel, you are of wisdom, created from amongst us of a celestial son. And with your wisdom you will make the impossible possible, and perform acts considered to be miracles by the human races. You know the power of spirit, but beware, do not abuse it. Your wisdom, which you received through us, will serve the well-being of the human races. But the way leading thereto will be very difficult for them and for you. You will not be recognized for that which you are, and you will be renounced, for the human races are ignorant and filled with superstition and false teachers. The human races believe that God is the creation itself, and not the ruler of the celestial sons and these human races. And the people of the earth attribute to him the omnipotent of the creation, and glorify his as the creation itself. However, God is like unto a man, like all of the celestial sons and human races, except he is spiritually, infinitely more developed than they, more than any human creation or celestial son. Heed not false teachings. You too, Jmmanuel, they will insult as God and his inborn son, and you too will be made equal in their ignorance to the creation. You will be in the telling of them that they too can be as you, but they will not be in understanding and persecute you for your generosity of truth. Do not heed these false teachings, because millennia will pass before the people of the human races from the earth will be able to recognize the truth. This will be for several reasons, one of which is that you must grow through the initiations into thy godly status, whereby ye shall be given thy name in full inheritance. And great floods of human blood shall be shed on your account, your blood as well as that of uncounted generations of human ones. Nonetheless, fulfill your mission as a king of wisdom, as the son of Gabriel, the celestial son, for it is ordained from thy God, the one of total light and wisdom, the infinite one. In the name of God, the law was issued to create you so that you may serve as prophet and forerunner of wisdom to this human race and to all new human races to come forth upon the earth land. Fulfill your mission without annoyance, and do not allow for antagonization, for it will be great testing that you will endure. Ye will be unperturbed by opposition to all lack of reason, and false teachings of the scribes and Pharisees, as well as against the incredulous people. Ye must always perform in balance and remain in inner wisdom and harmony, for yours will be an example for the evolutions to come upon the human races. Ye shall be given to grow beyond the wisdom of all human races and become one with God, that ye will fulfill the ultimate mission within the realms of human. Upon your fulfillment of your mission, centuries and 2 millennia shall have passed before the truth of your wisdom is brought forth amongst the people and shall be recognized and spread by some ones of the people of the human races. These appointed and consecrated ones shall have also been trained and taught by the celestial sons in the realms of God. They shall be daring and dedicated above all others, that their missions also be fulfilled in perfection and the proper sequence of time portions. Now, before the time when machines project themselves into the sky of the humans, will truth break through, and false teachings will slowly become most unstable and shaky, namely that you are the Son of God, or the creation. For you will be recognized as the son of celestial sons, and will become one with God and within the creation. Now this will be a time that we, the celestial sons, will begin to reveal ourselves anew to the human races, because they will have become knowing and will threaten the order of heaven with the power that they will gain. But they will be arrogant and ignorant and unable to contain the foolish power they will have discovered, and will threaten annihilation and dissemination of the entire earth through their evil tinkering. Thusly they spoke, the celestial sons, between the north and west, before they brought Jmmanuel in the metallic light orb back into Israel in the land of Galilee. And when Jmmanuel returned, he found that John the Baptist had been imprisoned, and therefore he left the town of Nazareth and went forth to live in Capernaum, which is by the sea, in the lands of Zebulun and Naphtali. And at that time Jmmanuel went forth and began to teach and warn the people, repent and return to the truth and to knowledge, for they alone bring life unto you. And then, as Jmmanuel went along the Sea of Galilee with his teaching, he came upon 2 brothers named Peter and Andrew of the house of Simon, known also as Simeon. And they threw their fishing nets into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jmmanuel spoke to them, saying, Come and follow me. I shall teach you knowledge that make you into fishers of men. And after they listened to Jmmanuel's truth, they became bonded friends. And then they soon left their fishing nets behind, and they traveled along with the young Jmmanuel, all being young and about the same number of years. They and Jmmanuel traveled over the whole of Galilee, taught in the synagogues, preached the knowledge of the Spirit, and healed all diseases and infirmities of the people who came forth to hear and sought wisdom. The news of him spread all over Syria. Those who heard of him brought to him those who were sick and afflicted with various diseases and plagues, and those who were obsessed, the lunatics, and those who were sick of palsy and all manner of distresses. He healed them all. And it came to pass that many people followed him from Galilee, from the 10 cities, from Jerusalem, from Judea, and from the other side of the river Jordan. And everywhere they went, many people would gather and aspire to hear his teachings, for it was recognized that he was of higher inspiration and knowledge. And the crowds continually grew in number, so that the young master would need find a higher ground upon which to stand, that he might be seen and heard. And he sought out placement whereby he might stand atop a hillock and oversee the people, that his voice might be carried to the far edges of the gathered ones. Dharma, let us take a respite, for we have not had a break in our work for some 3 of your hours. Rest a bit, and we will return into our work. Ye are blessed of us, of the celestial sons, and your communication is growing steadily more synchronized and easy of flow. Salut, salut, salut. Monday, August 7th, 1989, 12 p.m., Year 2, Day 356. Let us continue, Dharma. Sanada here in the light that you receive in clarity and comfort. Let us return to Judas Iscariot, that you can continue of your scribing from the ancient scrolls. Now these scrolls are in safekeeping to be again brought into you ones in security at the proper sequence. I do not like to refuse response unto your questions, so let us please request that you accept our sequence of events and writings and not overponder or outthink the higher brethren. There is safety in thy ignorance, and too much speculation brings danger, the same as if it were true rather than conceptual. If this is not honored, you will refrain from sharing any of the documents of translation, even among the small group. You ones get most ebullient, and the radiance emanates from you like a lighthouse. Caution shall be thy password. Please do not cause the necessity of delay in that which might already be planned. Ye are monitored most carefully, beloved ones, and as these writings are put to publication, I request that the conversations of Dharma, as well as any instructions, be also published in sequence as brought forth. One of those who do not the setup can label or entitle the separate portions in suitable fashion. Now these conversations, however, must be included, for there is great purpose therein, so be it. I relinquish to Judas. Salut, I move to stand by. Greetings, Dharma, Judas. Here that we might continue from the prior session, we will now return to the scrolls. And we begin with the Sermon on the Mount. And when Jmmanuel saw the multitudes of people who followed him on one particular crowded day, he went on top of a small mountain and sat down, and his disciples went forth with him. Time had passed, and he had gained many disciples, and Jmmanuel had grown in maturity of both physical and mental stature. And there was much questioning about how one goes forth in the physical, and how one should practice life, that they might be blessed in the sight of God and the celestial sons, and be in balance and harmony with the creation. And he spoke thusly unto them: Blessed are they who are rich in spirit, and recognize the truth, for life belongs to them. Blessed are they who lament, for they shall see the truth therein, and shall be comforted. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for truth and knowledge, for they shall be satisfied and given wisdom. And blessed are they who obey the law of nature and the creation, for they live according to the plan of the creation. Blessed are they who have a clear conscience, and who listen unto their conscience in truth, for they need not fear. Blessed are they who believe in the creation, for they do not follow false teachings. Blessed are the righteous, for nature is subject unto them. Blessed art thou when men shall revile you because of your teachings, and because of me persecute you and falsely speak evil against you. Rejoice and be comforted, for life and the new life will reward you. Thusly did they persecute the prophets who were here before you. You are the salt of the earth. And when the salt loses its savor, with what will you salt? It is of no further use except to be thrown out and stepped on by the people. You are the light of the world. The city that is on top of a mountain cannot remain hidden. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but rather place it on a candlestick, and it gives you light to all the people in the house. Let your light so shine before the people, so that they will see your good works and recognize the truth of your knowledge. Do not think that I have come to dissolve the law or the prophets. I have not come to dissolve, but to fulfill and to reveal knowledge. Thusly I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth vanish, not the smallest letter, nor one iota of the law of creation and the laws of nature will disappear until all has been fulfilled. Now he who violates the smallest law or violates the smallest commandment and teaches people falsely will be called the least. But he who spreads the teachings in truth will be called the greatest, and the Spirit will thank him. For I say unto you, if your righteousness is not better than that of the Pharisees and scribes, you will not receive the gratitude of the Spirit and of life. You have heard that it has been said to the old, you shall not kill, but he who kills shall be judged by the court. I tell you, be just according to the natural law of creation, so that you will find the judgment in logic and reason with wisdom. Guilty are all who do not act in self-defense or according to a given verdict when they kill or speak and practice evil. Justice according to the natural laws of the creation by itself elevates a verdict into logic. Do not accommodate or oblige your adversaries when you are right, and the judge will probably decide in your favor if thy judge be of honor and without parochialism and bigotry. And verily I say unto you, you will obtain justice only when you find truth yourself and can make your fellow man understand of it. You have heard that it has been said, you should not commit adultery. But I tell you, he who cohabits with someone other than his spouse and practices in the manner of ones bounded in marriage with such commitment shall be caused to terminate such condition and circumstance. For it is unworthy of mankind, abhorrent and filled with lavish selfishness, for physical pleasure without thought or responsibility unto the consequences thereof. It is in creation of imbalance and disharmony, for at all times does such activity impinge upon the justice one to another. If one practices physical pleasures with ones of the samer species of male or female, the physical activities will be the carriers of disease and carnal consequences, for it is against the natural law of creation, for in thy logical reason it is most obviously incorrect and ill-intended. If your right eye or left eye vexes you, pull it out and throw it away from you. It is better that only one of your limbs be ruined and not the entire body. If a thought beleaguers you, then destroy it and ban it from your mind. It is better to destroy a thought that would incite annoyance and subsequent invidious behavior, and not to bring the entire world of thought into an uproar. It is further being said that he who separates from his spouse should give him or her a letter of separation. But I tell you, he who leaves his spouse, except in the case of idolatry, and I care not for physical, legal documentation, but those also who do dwell in the marriage rituals, cause the marriage to break. He who then marries one who has caused such a break is then also guilty of committing adultery. Furthermore, you have also heard that it has been said to the old, you shall not swear falsely, but only keep your oath to God. But I tell you that you shall never swear, neither to heaven, which is infinite and cannot be measured, nor to the earth, for it passes, nor to Jerusalem, for it is not an eternal city, and is built by the hand of man. Nor shall you swear on your own head, for you cannot change the color of a single hair, which springs forth from the root of the hair. And neither shall ye swear by the memory of a person or thing, for all are fleeting. At all times let your speech be only yes, yes or no, or no. Whatever is beyond that violates the laws. You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, exercise justice according to the natural law of creation, so that you find the verdict in logic and wisdom. Exercise love where it is warranted, and punish where the law of nature demands punishment. Ye shall further remain within the laws of creation in deciding justice, for ye may not impinge upon the laws of the creation in that which has already been laid down for thy judgment in wisdom. And give unto him who asks of you, if the request is made sincerely, and turn thee away from him who asks of you in dishonesty, to deprive you of that which is yours, in order to elevate his own comfort and status. You have also heard that it has been said, you shall love thy neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, exercise love and understanding according to the natural law of the creation, so that you act and feel rightly according to justice and logic. Exercise love where it is warranted, and despise where the law of nature demands punishment. And you shall be wise and learn knowledge, for you shall become perfect in spirit as the creation which created you. You shall train your spirit in the course of incarnation at many, many levels, and let your spirit become perfection. Thus you become one with the creation. And thus it was that Jmmanuel taught those ones who came unto him in search of wisdom and truth. And he continued his teaching thusly: watch your piety, practice before the people with right words, lest you be accused of them of lying, whereby you find no reward from them. Choose your words in accord with logic, and consider the knowledge and behavior of nature. And when you give alms, you shall not publicize this as do the hypocrites in the synagogues and in the streets, in order to be praised by people who witness. Verily I say unto you, they have no reward, because they give alms solely for selfish reasons. When you pray, you shall call upon the omnipotence of the Spirit, and you should not babble as do the ignorant and selfish, for they think that they are heard because they use many and grand words. The spirit of man does not require many words, but it requires a knowledge of its power. Pray, therefore, in knowledge to the almightiness of the Spirit, that its grandeur and power is infinite. If you do not know how to pray directly to the almighty power of the Spirit, then use instead something sacred through which you will enter into the Spirit. But never be like the ignorant, the hypocrites, and the selfish who revere some thing or object, believing that the almighty power of the Spirit somehow dwells within it. Ye must be aware that the object is only an opening of the way through which the almighty power of the Spirit can be reached within thyself. Therefore pray as ones that know, and therefore you should pray thusly. And here's the perfect prayer. My spirit, you are omnipotent. Your name is holy. May your realm be incarnate in me. May your power reveal itself within me, on earth and in the heaven. Give me today my daily bread, and thus let me recognize my transgressions and errors. And I shall recognize the truth, and do not lead me into temptation and confusion, but deliver me from error. For yours is the realm within me, and the power and the knowledge forever. Amen. For when you pray to your spirit, whatever you request will be given to you, if it is truly is a desire. For believe with knowledge, and you will receive. If you believe in false teachings, namely that power and spirit do not dwell within you, then you will be without knowledge and live in spiritual poverty. If you believe in false teachings, namely that power and spirit do not dwell within you, then you will be without knowledge and live in spiritual poverty. Though you will receive now and then that which you will ask for in your false belief of alienated sanctuaries, idols, and gods, you will receive only because of your strong false belief, without knowing and without knowledge of the real truth. For verily I say to you, blessed are only they who serve the real truth and knowledge, for only they are to receive in honesty. Consider carefully the way ye do of your fasting. If you choose of fasting, you will not appear across like the hypocrites, for they disguise their faces so that they appear to be something because of their fasting. Verily I say unto you, they have no reward, inasmuch as they fast only for selfish reasons, for the sake of appearance. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your countenance, lest you appear before the people with your fasting, but before your own spirit which is hidden. You fast for the sake of your health, the expansion of your spirit and knowledge and wisdom, and not else. Any other reason is self-indulgent and for the appearance unto others. You shall neither amass great treasures on earth, where they are eaten by moths and rust, and where thieves dig for them and steal them. For where your treasure is, there also is your heart. And the true treasure is wisdom and knowledge. And when thy earth journey is complete, ye shall be separated from all earthly treasures. So better you build thy treasures in the realms of heaven. The eye is the light of your body. If your eye is clear, then your entire body will be light. Vision goes beyond that which is witnessed by a sighted eye. If your eye is evil, your entire body will be most dark. If the light in you is dark, how great will the darkness be? Nobody can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or he will adhere to one and despise the other. You cannot serve your spirit and the mammon. Therefore I say unto you, do care about the knowledge of your spirit, about that which you eat and drink, and care about your body and what you will wear. For is it not the spirit life and the body more important than all the treasures of the world? The spirit of man which is thirsting for truth and knowledge cannot preserve his earthly life without his body, for they are one. And man should take care to increase the knowledge of his spirit, care about the laws of life, and have concern with food, drink, and clothing, on behalf of his body, which houses his spirit. But ye shall not spend of any time in concern of storing up great treasures, for ye need them not. And behold, the birds below the sky, they eat the harmful insects, and they have feathers as clothes, yet they have no spirit. And they work because this is their duty, and they are fed and clothed by the creation. Are you not more than they? You can think independently through your free spirit and the great and wondrous thinking mind God has given unto thee. And you can work independently, and you can independently prepare food and drink and clothe your body, and it is your responsibility to do this for yourself. Behold the lilies in the marsh where they grow. They do not work, nor do they spin. Yet, verily I say to you, the lilies also fulfill their duty by giving pleasure to the eye with their beauty. I say to you that Solomon in all his splendor was not clothed as any one of those blossoms. Should you not do so much more for yourself, since the creation sustains and clothes the grass on the field, which is here today and thrown into the oven tomorrow? The grass fulfills its duty by serving as fodder and fuel. But you, of little faith, are you not much more than the grasses? Therefore take care for the wisdom and knowledge of your spirit, and take care lest you suffer from the lack of food, drink, and clothing. For verily I say to you, if you suffer from hunger, thirst, and nakedness, wisdom and knowledge are driven away, because of the worry of thy mind will not find freedom. Neither shall ye neglect your own attention to caring for self, and that ye depend upon others to supply these things unto you, unless ye are infirm and have an interval of inability to tend of self. First and foremost, think of the realm of your spirit and its knowledge, and of comforting your body with food and drink and clothing. You must ensure respite, that the body not be fatigued into illness, and you should not remove responsibility from others, in that you perceive ye should tend of others who can tend of themselves. you should take care in thy charity, that it be worthy in its placement. And ye must also care for the following day, for tomorrow will not care for you by itself. It is enough that each day has its own care, so that you should not have to worry about the needs of your physical well-being. But ye should not dwell nor hoard, for the supplies will but rot and deteriorate. So take care in moderation and in expected need, but do not place such stress on the morrow, for that ye do not use these things given unto you for the use of today. Then Jmmanuel asked those gathered with him to consider judgment. Judge not falsely, lest you be falsely judged. For with whatever judgment you judge, so will you be judged, and with whatever measure you measure, so will you be measured. Therefore judge according to the logic of the laws of nature, which are from the creation, for they alone are true and accurate. What do you see but the splinter in your brother's eye? And are you not aware of the sliver in thine own eye? You hypocrite! First, pull the sliver out from your own eye, and then see how much you can pull the splinter out of your brother's eye. First, learn the laws of nature and of the creation, their logic before you judge and want to see the mistakes of your fellow man. First, learn through the laws of nature and of the creation your own mistakes, so that you can correct the mistakes of your fellow man. You should never give sacred things unto the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the swine, lest they step on them with their feet and turn on you and tear you apart. For verily I say unto you, do not throw your spiritual treasures into the dirt, and do not waste them on those who are unworthy, for they did not thank you, and they will tear you apart, for their understanding is small, and their spirit is weak. Ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For he who asks of his Spirit receives, and he who seeks through the power of Spirit finds, and he who knocks at the door of his Spirit, to him it will be opened. Who is there amongst you who, if this son asked him for bread, would give him a stone? Or if he asked you for a fish, would you offer him a serpent? Therefore, even if you, though you are being wicked, can still give your children good gifts, how much more will your Spirit give unto you if you request it? So be it. Everything that you would have people do unto you, also do that unto them. That is the law according to the prophets. Enter through the narrow portal, for the portal and the path leading to condemnation are wide, and there are many that walk thereon. And the portal and the path leading to life and knowledge are narrow, and there are only a very few that find it. And beware of false prophets and scribes who come into you in sheep's clothing, but inside they're like raving wolves, and they preach to you humility to shrines, false deities and gods, and preach to you of humility to idols and false teachings. Beware of those who forbid you access to wisdom and knowledge, and tell you not to go forth to hear what perhaps is truth. For they speak to you only to attain power over you, and to seize your goods and belongings. Always search beneath the coverings to inspect that which they do not tell you, and further check carefully those things that they extract from you. Truth and wisdom in truth are given with no price of treasure nor power of force. You shall recognize these ones by the fruit they bear. Can a person gather grapes from the thorns and figs from the thistles? Therefore, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a bad tree brings forth wicked fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth wicked fruit, and a bad tree cannot bring forth good fruit. Therefore, by their fruit shall you know them. Therefore, he who hears my speech and follows it is like a smart man who built his house on the rock. And he who hears his speech, and he who hears this speech and does not follow it is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. And when the flash flood rushed forth upon him, and the strong winds were blowing against the house, it collapsed and fell. So be it that you who have wisdom to heed my words shall reap of great unbounded rewards. And after Jmmanuel had finished his discourse, the people were stunned and shocked at his wisdom and knowledge, and were surprised at his teachings, for he spoke with total authority and severity of tone, a new teaching, and not as the other of their own scribes. They mumbled about amongst themselves in great wonder as this gentle man who spoke so emphatically of the truth, which was laden with reason and logic. And let us go for a rest without this place, that we continue in refreshment. I am in great appreciation for your willing service, Chela. Peace abide with you is my blessing. Salut. It would be, as I am told, that basically you wrote of Sipapu Odyssey in about 10 of thy days. We shall get it done, beloved one. So be it. So with that, I'm going to stop right here, and we'll continue on with chapter 4 in my next reading. So I hope everyone was receiving the word with an open heart and an open mind. For we already know we've been withheld information that would have sustained all of us in glory. But they took that away from us, and it is up to us now to go and continue to search and find the truth. And everything is within you. Don't let them tell you that it's all out there. It's right here. It's right here within you. Okay, folks, share your smile and hug those that you love, because life is short, and do something really nice for someone you don't even know, because they are our brothers and sisters. And if, as Sanada told us, that give, but only to those who are sincere and in need. For there's many out there that are begging which don't need it, but they're taken away from you that could have been given to others. Okay, folks. Love you. See you. Bye.